Hello and welcome back to your 2021 Maine State Championship final round coverage. Gonna get into the back nine here. If you haven't already caught the front nine, go ahead and hit pause. Check the link in the description. Get yourself caught up on the action. Here's a look in at the scorecards from the front nine. And we've got ourselves a ball game. One stroke separating the top three players here at 15, 16, and 17 under par. Hole 10, here's some janky drone footage for you as promised. Jumper helped me out on the front, but not on the back, so I apologize. It does get a little bit better. This was the first hole that I filmed of the day and like the hardest one, so here is your hole 10, 556 feet, par 4, through the trees, up the hill. Miss everything and you could get a birdie, but that's not usually what happens for me. Seeley pumping something up the fairway, hits a late tree, but fortunately stays kind of towards the middle. That'll be okay. Coop, once again, lining up a forehand. Looks like it stayed clean, landed in the road. I'm not sure if that's exactly where he's aiming for. I wouldn't doubt it though, because it's pretty wide open out there on the road if you can get there. Dore just pulls it high, wide, hyzer. It's just in a funk today. Dore struggled on the front nine. I think he's really hoping to turn it around here on the back nine. This is not a good start, though. Enman a little too flippy of a disc. Kicks a tree on the right, back towards the middle. Still going to be a little pinched off. So we're going to barely catch Dore's shot here. And we're going to miss a couple of Seeley's shots as we were changing batteries in the catch cam at this time, so I apologize for that. Here's Enman's shot, very up close to those trees, throws a beautiful shot pretty much right towards the basket. I think he hits a very late tree that hurt him a little bit, but he got most of the way there. Coop throws a beautiful forehand. He was in a great spot, and that's going to give him a putt. Look at a very tough birdie here. This was Dore's third shot. Catches the smallest sapling, takes an immediate tree direction, leaves himself a jump putt, which he almost cans to save the par. Dore is really having to work for every stroke on this course today. Enman giving it a bid for his birdie. Just fades out a little early on him. He almost had it. And Coop with practically a tap-in birdie for hole 10. You're not going to see birdie putts from too much closer than that. That was a well-played hole. This is Seeley's putt for par. And I would be so happy with a stress-free par like that every single time. Dore with another unfortunate bogey there to start the back nine. Hole 11 is the hardest hole on the course. There were absolutely 0 birdies on day 1 and day 2. Averaging 3.67 strokes. It's 396 feet up the hill, around the corner, through the trees, over the rock wall. It's not an easy hole, and it's nearly impossible too, clearly. Coop gonna force over a forehand here through this tight early gap. And hits it beautifully. I think that's really all he's kind of going for. It'd be very tough to get something to hold over on Anheuser the whole way up there. with a forehand. Seeley splits the uprights, heads into the trees early left, but what you really want to do is just get past that first rock wall on your left and through that gap. Set yourself up for a decent look at an easy up and down, and Enman throws pretty much the perfect shot, which you can see still doesn't really give you anywhere near a putt. Dore off by an inch, and terrible result once again. It's just Groundhog Day for Dore here. And again, another tree. Ooh, okay, Seeley. Seeley's got some moves. Sorry, I couldn't resist. I saw him do his little loosening up move, and it might have been a late night of editing when that got thrown in there. Hope you enjoyed that. Dore had almost thrown it in there. Coop gives it kind of a run. It looked closer than it was from that angle there, but nice easy three for both Coop and Enman. Seeley had to work for that one a little bit, but cleans up his par. I'm trying to remember back to last year when we had Simon and Legee and T. Gilly and a whole host of touring pros up here. I wonder how many of them were able to get the 2 last year. I'm gonna have to look that up. Hole 12, par 3, 305 feet. The distance is deceiving here. And oh, by the way, I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. This is probably the best drone footage you're going to get out of me on this course. It's still not great, but I kind of turned while I was going forward, and that was an accomplishment for me. Here you'll see Dorian and his buddy. Let them play through as I was taking my time, filming some holes. Coop's up first, lining up the forehand. A little too turned over. Gets through a lot of those dense trees, and
still flying, I think.
It's not a terrible spot over there. It kind of cuts the corner for you. Looking at the basket.
Gotta be kidding me.
One of those trees you just can't see. Feels like you threw the perfect shot, and then the disc just comes right back to you. And Enman throws a really good line here. Not all the way turned over so that it'll get you parked, but you don't really need to be that turned over. It doesn't have to be a forehand. It doesn't have to be a steep anhyzer. A little more of the straight play. You'll see where Enman ends up. And see right there, Dore gets a little lucky. It's a little bit tight to that right side and a little turned over. And he actually got fortunate for a change and made it through the trees there. But I kind of like Enman's line a little better there. Seeley a little bit errant. Didn't exactly pure the line, but gives himself a putt. And this is where Coop's drive ended up. As you can see, it cuts that corner and gives you a look straight at the basket. He's fortunate not to really have anything in his way. But it's really not that bad if you go a little too straight. And here's Enman. Somehow his disc goes through the basket, because that I still can't understand how that didn't go in. But that that more of a straight play does get you a putt. What a par save from Seeley. About 40 feet out at least, straddling in the woods. That's a big time putt. Keeps him in it. Couple strokes back from Coop. Dore just unable to connect on the birdie putt there. So I'll have a couple tap-in pars here from the rest of the crew. Wanted to try something out. Kind of like that. This is my last chance to do a big tournament project for the year. I'm learning as I go with editing and all the videography and drone flying and everything. So I see some quirky stuff in here. Give me a pass. Hole 13, par 3, 329. Gotta get through the trees. You got a left side gap. You can go backhand turnover or forehand at it, or you could take a right side gap. It's a little tighter and play something more straight at the basket, maybe a baby hyzer finish. Coop electing for that forehand gap on the left. Kicks a tree. It was turned just a little bit, but really nice forward kick and slides down the fairway towards the basket. And there's that backhand turnover line. Seeley controls the speed and the angle beautifully, and he's parked. Enman going that right side gap. Just a tiny bit too much hyzer, connects with that tree and stops about 3/4 of the way up the fairway. Unfortunately, that's going to be out of birdie range, I believe. Dore just knew it out of his hand. It wasn't wide enough, and connects with one of the trees in the middle of the fairway. Gives it a really nice floaty bid though on his second shot. Enman just laying up. Coop has a bit of a jump putt at it. Not quite able to connect, but pretty fortunate to even have that look at it after a fairly early tree kick off the tee. A good putt to save his par there. Seeley's gonna tap in the solo bird. Hole 14's a little bit of a quirky one. So you've got a couple of gaps to choose from here early off the tee, and then it goes downhill pretty quickly and drastically after that. 304 feet, par 3, averaging just under par. It feels like it's a must get, but the way that the green slopes away from the basket can make this play pretty tricky. Really hard to control the speed and angle into the green to get it to stay close. Looks like Seeley just rolled his wrist a little bit, gets it turned over into the trees on the left. Coop throws a really good looking shot. It's about exactly what you want, but it's sketchy when that disc hits the hill and skips like that. It's kind of 50-50 whether it's going to just sit or whether it's going to roll. And when it rolls, it usually goes a good ways away. Really good speed control there from Enman. Throwing something out and letting it stall so that it doesn't have too much reaction from the ground. And Dore going a little bit faster. And there's that roll that we were talking about. Unfortunately, the catch cam only really got Dore's shot. But we'll see just a second when we get down there. So here's where Seeley ended up. About 40 feet. Just low. Really, really good bid from where he is at. Dore also about 40 feet. Catches a little bit of inside of the basket and some chains, but still comes out somehow. That's just rude. And a great committed putt there by Enman. Giving it the height. Dropping it right in. Good bird. And the closest of the group here is Coop from only about 15 feet. Nice easy birdie there. And Coop is remaining bogey free. Playing nice and smooth. Enman has also cleaned it up here. He's got no birdies on the back, and neither does Seeley. Hole 15, another signature hole out here, playing off of kind of an elevated tee from the woods out into a big old field. This is the hole that Thomas Gilbert infamously deuced last year by going over the top of everything and then canning like a 70-foot putt. A lot of players are just going to play it kind of safe here off the tee and not try and get too crazy, because if you get into those trees on the right hand side, good luck. Coop playing a really safe forehand out into the open field on the left there. Enman doing the same thing, just with a backhand. You know, play a controlled hyzer into just the middle of the field, far enough so that you're around the corner. And Seeley just gets a little bit too aggressive here. I don't know if he was trying to go over the top of the trees or just to test that right side and get as much forward penetration as he could out of it. But Dore throws pretty much an identical shot to what he threw on hole 4. Just hyzer flip to flat, absolute smash, probably another 500-foot drive off the tee. And so now Coop's looking at the basket. This plays downhill, and there's usually some significant wind. You hear some yelling in the background. That's because Kieran Nichols aced hole 16. So that was pretty cool to be close by and hear it. Wish we could have got it on film, but congrats, Kieran. Seeley was just too pinched off, couldn't really access the green. There was a pretty good shot there. It's just going to have a little pitch up for a par. Enman gets 16 air bounces straight into a tree. And Dore throws a really nice shot and puts it about 12 feet from the pin. Gonna have a super easy birdie. Well done by Seeley. Take an easy par. Move on. Enman pitching up. And Coop's shot, which went about 50 feet long of the pin. And he gives it a little run with the forehand. I love that. Almost threw it in for the bird. And Dore is on the board, carding the only birdie on hole 15. Everybody else taps in their pars. Gotta give a shout out to David. He volunteered to give me a hand with filming with the catch cam. He was using Sean Berrubi's camera, first time ever using it, and wasn't too familiar with it. But just the fact that he came out and volunteered to help was really cool. So thanks, David. You're a great guy. Dore trying to get aggressive here at this point. Ace running it a little too high and floaty and left, and it just
Right to left.
goes down the hill behind the basket. This hole can be tricky. It's pretty straightforward. It's right out front of you. A lot of people will do exactly what Coop's doing here and just throw something right into the hill. And Coop does that nicely. It's going to give you like a 20-foot putt just about every time. But it's so tempting to just run that ace. So, see what Matt does here. So, I think he was wanting to go for the ace run as well. Pulled it a little bit right. And so he's also going to go down the hill. Kind of take him out of putting range there. Seeley throws a really good looking backhand. That's kind of the safe
Hopefully that stays.
backhand line. You want to throw it, match the top of the hill there, get it to land flat and slow. Dore with a bid. That almost goes in. Enman up next. He's actually got a putt. And that almost goes in. Yeah, so Seeley controlled the speed well enough that he's only about 18 feet behind the basket. Able to cash in that birdie there.
Good do, Seal. Thanks.
It's now 2 down on the back. And Coop has got this short putt to go 3 down on the back. Got it. So actually holes 13, 14, 15, 16, and 18 are all playing as some of the easiest holes on the course by scoring average. So this is really where you want to be picking up those birdies and finishing strong. Hole 17, on the other hand, is not the case. Very few birdies on this hole. I believe this plays as the second hardest hole. Averaging 3.42. It's 342 feet. It's a par 3. And you really you've gotta miss some trees. It takes an element of luck. You can throw a pure line and still get caught up late because there's just so many trees to miss. Forehand or backhand can both play very well. And Coop throws a really good shot. It's hard to do much better than that, but it requires better than that to get yourself a putt. And it just makes this hole so difficult.
Not a lot of zoom, but gets the job done.
And this has the height, the speed, the turn. David
Ripped it.
David says he ripped it.
I need to
David did the best he could with tracking that disc as it went through all the trees there. Seeley is pretty much pin high there, but he's really tucked into some trees. And Dore throws it just about as good as you could possibly throw it. Probably should have been parked, but hits a rock or a root or something that robs him of the skip he needed for that last 20 to 30 feet to get himself a close putt. And that's probably one of the best groups of 4 drives that you're going to see a card throw on this hole. They made it look easy, but trust me, that's not that easy of a hole. And the gravity of the hill, so this one, the green kind of slopes away to the right, and that grabbed Coop's forehand and pulled it down to the right, so he'll have a little bit of a tester as well. Enman maybe having a little bit of struggles with those Anheuser backhand shots. He's hit a couple of trees, ones that you gotta miss a few times during this round. Dore pitched up, and here's Seeley's putt, trying to make it through the trees. Gets through, but just takes too much speed off it. Wasn't gonna have a chance to go in. Enman from behind the tree. Just hits front cage. So close. And now Coop, with only a 2-stroke lead going to the last hole, really wants to get this par here. You do not want to give up a stroke. And he makes it. If he misses that and takes a bogey here, and Seeley gets his par, you do not want a 1-stroke lead on the last hole. 18, it's not super difficult, but the difference between a 3 and a 4 on that hole is not very much in terms of the shot that you throw. You're throwing uphill, and you've got to hit your line. You've got to get some good carry and glide to get yourself a good putt there on 18. So there can definitely be some separation. And we will now head into hole 18, 510-foot par 4. Come out through this gap. That sign is not a mando. That tree is not a mando. It's just pointing towards where the basket is. Get around this corner, and then you still got about 340 feet, I'd say, uphill the whole way into the green. In the open, there's usually some wind to contend with, and we're gonna see how these guys finish it out. It's a good battle, fun round to watch. And Coop is just playing something safe. He's not getting real aggressive, trying to hug that tight hyzer line and get out there. Just wants to give himself a stress-free tee shot there. Seeley gets a little more aggressive. You can hear it catch some limbs, but it does make it around the corner. Dore gets it high and tight with good speed, and that's about as good as you can possibly do on this tee shot without getting real sneaky, doing some kind of roller or going through the backdoor gap or something like that. There's that black disc out of Enman again. Decent position, nothing wrong with that. Seeley putting a move on this disc. Really wants to get himself a putt, put a little bit of pressure on Coop at least. And does a great job. That's putting. Coop just turns this over. I don't know if it was the disc or the run up, maybe he slipped, or just a misrelease. But that is not in putting range. And now he's going to make sure he puts it close. Enman with a good shot there, probably leaving himself about 30, 35 feet to get his bird to finish the tournament. And Dore got so far up there, he's able to throw, I think that's a putter, maybe an AVR from where he was, and go a little bit long of the basket. It was a great drive. A little bit of a nervy little up shot here, really well executed by Coop. You know, you're kind of a tight finish with the gallery, so to speak, there. Well done. Seeley to finish out his tournament strong. Makes a good putt. Finishes at 19 under, going 3 down on the front, 3 down on the back. With that one unfortunate double bogey. And the wind just holds up Dore's putt there. And he's had as much fun as he can take for this round. It was a tough one today for sure. But Mr. Coop Legee for the win. And he takes it down at 20 under par, winning the 2021 Maine State Championships. Congratulations to Coop. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the coverage. I look forward to doing more of this next year, hopefully. It's just been a learning experience with filming, with editing, with flying drones, with commentary. So thanks for bearing with me. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're not already, please like, subscribe, click that notification bell so you don't miss any future projects. And I'll catch you on the next one.